What's cracking, guys? Omar Isaf here, back with another video. In this video today, I'm doing a sequel to a previous video all about high versus low volume training as it relates to trying to build muscle and what is the most optimal for, let's say, natural individuals. I'm going to get into the science a little bit. I got to give a huge shout out to everything I'm about to say to my main man, Dr. Brad Schoenfeld, one of the leaders in the game when it comes to trying to bring scientific knowledge to the community, the fitness community, and trying to illuminate certain things. Because if it was just up to like bro science guys, they would just say, oh, this kind of works, this doesn't work, buy my program. Well, that ain't enough. That doesn't work. We want to know what truly actually produces change, what is most optimal for us. We only have so much time to train, so some big questions become then, how much volume should we do? And remember, volume is kind of reps times sets, and then you look at total volume throughout the week, so that's total weekly volume. You add up all the volume you did throughout every single session collectively, and that's weekly volume, total weekly volume. So there's a few interesting things. What he did, he took a look at meta-analysis at all the existing literature out there that we currently have when it comes to training to try and find some general recommendations. Because keep in mind, one thing I want to emphasize before I go on is that there's a lot of variation depending upon the individual, and that's why you have to customize things. Not everyone will respond the same. A lot of people will respond differently. Some people respond to very high volume, some people respond to high volume, some people might even need moderate volume. It depends upon the person. But what they did find is a dose-response relationship between volume and building muscle. And essentially what that means is that as they increased the volume for the individual, they built more muscle. And so, like I said before, they took a look at all the existing literature and they broke it down between volume. So volume per week, total weekly volume. And the difference between someone that trained on average 5 total, weekly sets for a muscle group, so let's say 5 sets of chest or whatever versus 10 sets. And keep in mind, I should go on, before I go on, I want to say this, that when we talk about these sets, all these sets were taken to muscular failure, which means you do every single set right to failure, and that way everything is equal, it's equal footing, so you could kind of test things out. So every single one of these sets were very hard sets. We're not talking about like warm-up sets or like kind of light working sets. These are very intense sets. But they took a look at those that did 10 plus sets, those that did 5 sets, they broke it down, and what they noted is those that did at least 10 sets per muscle group per week, what they found out is that they had more muscle growth than those that did less volume. So they had, I believe, 9.8% were those that did 10 or more sets per week per muscle group. So what that means is that every single week they do at least 10 sets for that muscle group, or every single muscle group. So 10 sets of a mixture of whatever would be for chest, for triceps, for shoulders, for back, a variation of different movements, but each of those sets was taken to failure. And again, they kind of do that to give it even footing for every single study they're trying to take a look at. But what they did notice is that those that trained more, so those that did 10 plus sets versus those that did 5 sets, experienced more growth. I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, man, like 5, 6 sets? Come on, man, I do a lot more than that. Again, these are very strenuous sets. They're taken to muscular failure. So they're not just your traditional sets like most of us, we do, 3 sets or 4 sets per, exercise, and maybe there's one really hard set during that exercise and you do multiple exercises in a training session. So I think this was a really good evaluation, and for those interested, I think the highest study that was looked at, the highest amount of sets for a muscle group taken to failure, I think was 27, I believe, but it's unknown what is the upper limit right now of how much volume someone can handle. But again, I want to talk about general recommendations, and what I mean is, like I was saying before, there does seem to be definitely a dose-response relationship when it comes to volume and then how much muscle that you can build. You'll experience greater muscular growth doing more volume to a point, and that's the second thing I wanted to talk about, is that I want to talk about the individual, how there has to be some leeway when it comes to every single person and what they can handle, because some people are built to handle more volume. I've noted within myself, and that's why you use kind of the research, what's available out there to serve as a guideline, let's say, and then you customize it for yourself. I personally definitely respond better to higher volume, so doing more volume in my training. I posted before about my back results from doing pull-ups every single day. It was just a thought I had, essentially, when it comes to what I've noted for myself, what worked for me, what I thought I needed to do in order to, build more muscle, and it worked out. And that worked for me. It wouldn't work for every single person. But something else I want to say is that it's not only about pushing the volume but doing it smartly. And what I mean is that it is a very solid recommendation to cycle your volume, much like you cycle percentages when it comes to training to try to get stronger. So you don't always train at 90% plus or even 80% plus. Most of your stuff is done between like 60 to maybe 85% of your 1 rep max. The same idea would be applied when it comes to volume. If you do too much volume consistently, so let's just say, I'm making this up, but like 20 sets per muscle group per week, and you just do that every single week, eventually probably your body, you'll get a little achy, a little sore, a little banged up over time. That's a lot of volume for your body to handle. So cycling your volume, where you have periods of lower volume, moderate volume, and then chunks of high volume, would be the best approach. But overall, what you should be trying to do when it comes to your training, and I think this kind of points in that right direction when we talk about that dose-response relationship, is you should be trying to do more overall. You should be trying to get better, right? Lift more weight, handle more volume, have an increased frequency over time. All these things kind of add up together. So it's nice to see that the research is supporting some of this. Now, something I want to say, people talk about what works right for them. Like, well man, you say 10 plus sets is what was studied, they're taking a muscular failure. That doesn't mean you have to do that at all, but like me personally, I respond better to X, and that might be the case. Again, I want to note that not every person studied, when they take a look at a higher volume approach or when they take a look at just all these studies in general, respond the same. Some people respond really well, some people respond pretty well, and some people might need to change it up a little bit. But again, we're trying to look at what's best as a whole, general recommendations. Same idea applies. Something really cool for you guys to keep in mind is that it was thought previously before that, rep ranges, and this will be a whole other video, but like go over 12 reps, bro, you're just toning, like forget about it, you ain't gonna build muscle. Well, now they've done a lot of research when it comes to, higher rep ranges, so 15 reps, 20 reps, and I'm talking in experienced, trained individuals. Guys have been training 3 years, 5 years plus, and they noted they actually experienced a significant amount of muscle growth training in those higher rep ranges. So some of the things we may have thought before, it really kind of boils down to how hard you train as being one of the key factors. So the takeaway points from this are the following. 1, push that volume within reason. Cycle the volume, so not every single week or month should you be pushing it at the same intensity. Have some, high intensity periods where you do more volume, where you accumulate volume throughout that month, let's say, but then also cycle it down and build it back up. So you have to be smart about it, and also try and track that weekly or total weekly training volume. It's been noted once again that at least 10 plus sets per muscle group per week seems to be better than doing less than that as it relates to trying to build muscle. And again, these aren't newbies, these are experienced lifters, so I think that's very important to note. Anyways guys, that's the video. I hope it clears it up. Thank you so much for watching the video. Always trying to bring some of that information, help you guys get some results. If you liked the video, make sure to like the damn video. Check the links below for Dr. Brad Schoenfeld. I think the dude is amazing. He's a stand-up guy, and I think he's doing a lot of great work when it comes to the community. And I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace! Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.